るよどんだ法廷目がしが吠える罪の告白を抱えて罪状包み隠さず果て早く上に行けるだとかそれは道しるべただ一つの道しるべ真実にくきとひらの羽前にして何をだそれは黙示録終焉の地にそびえる黙示録救われたいと願うもので最後の審判盗みと群がるイカれた法廷目かしが吠える奪ったものだぜあいつは食べ物そいつは金をそして私は人の命をそれは道しるべただ一つの道しるべ天秤にかけられた心臓傾く先はそれは黙示録このうちで焼かれる黙示録救われたいと願うならば魂を超えそれは道しるべただ一つの道しるべ真実にくひとひらの羽天性を決めるそれは黙示録終焉の地に響くは救われたいと願うもので最後の審判消える道しるべ消える目視なく
Good evening and welcome back to my Dwarven Fortress of Esmulrakust, where last session we tried to get down below the aquifer in order to construct some extra bedrooms, and discovered that the moment you get 2 Z levels below the aquifer, you hit the caverns. So there wasn't any convenient space just below the aquifer where we could put some bedrooms. And so you had to go past the caverns, well, mostly past the caverns. Happily, there was this vertical pillar in a reasonably accessible place in the caverns that we could just build a staircase down the middle of. And we have, at least temporarily, blocked off access into the caverns from the other staircase that we built and that we are now kind of abandoning. I mean, I haven't actually paved over the top of it, but I might. It's got some stone in it, though. We can probably leave it open until we've finished with everything down there. So, yes, actually it occurs to me that if I made it able to drain, then I could, like, do some mining and just let the water pour down into the caverns. That might not be very happy with make me popular with the denizens of the caverns, though. Plus, like, the denizens of the caverns might be us, because I have noticed that we're running out of gems on the surface. Like, we've been mining accessible gems up there quite a bit, but down here there are, like, we can get a faint yellow diamond and emeralds and rubies and bituminous coal. Yeah, that's not a gem. And slightly less exciting things like sardonyx and red tourmaline, lavender jade, more ruby, dendritic agate, sapphire. So, like, there is some good stuff down here. And this fortress does seem to be quite in favour of decorating everything it makes with all the gems it can lay its hands on. I think I've spotted some native platinum as well. So it is quite tempting to actually use the caverns in a way that we really didn't in Keskalokil, the previous fortress. And like this section of caverns is at least quite shallow. Like it's 5Z levels high. So it's not going to be very confusing to explore. I mean, assuming it doesn't vary a lot over places we might be. So yes, we could probably build some kind of sensible access route into it. And then there's a convenient malachite wall we could just go through there. And then we could have like some defences that or the to keep out the nasties. Probably not nearly as necessary as it is on the surface, because I don't expect us to be attacked by the undead from down here. Cries praise. Yes. The odd forgotten beast. I did spot an animal down here, but I think it was an elk bird, and they're pretty harmless. Yes. And a large rat, apparently. But nonetheless, large rats are, I think, fairly harmless as well. Lapis lazuli. Galena, not that that's very useful. I can't remember if there's something you can directly smelt galena into. Other than, like, I mean, obviously you can get lead and I think some silver as well, but... So, yes, I am quite tempted to get into the caverns. Possibly, have we built a... We've got a carpenter's workshop here. Possibly we should actually have a wood stockpile next to it. I've just thought, having seen someone walking past carrying some wood. Maybe let's make this like... Actually, no, let's do it. It's not like you need much else to supply a carpenter's workshop. So let's do that. Oops. No. Yes, I have cycled slightly too far today, and that's a bit vaguer than usual, which is quite vague anyway. Actually, this is fairly simple. We just go all wood, don't we? That will tend at least to put the wood in the right place. Oh, I think we've made another nethercat bed for people who like their beds to be cooled. So, yes. We have a fair quantity of beds, but it turns out we aren't actually short of bedrooms at the moment. So, how are we doing on the spikes and weapons front? So we apparently have quite a lot. Okay, my dwarves, while I haven't been looking, have been making spikes. I think all the ones that don't have an M next to them are already installed, but we have 74 in total, and 20 of them are in those two squares, waiting for someone to fall on them. So we could, so we've got another 50 something. So we could install, wondering whether, are we more likely to get people trying to climb the walls? We need to smooth the walls down here, don't we? Probably. I mean, possibly we want to start building reinforced walls as well, but like, I'm not sure how much I want to be building up the defences here. So I think we carry on putting spikes along the wall. Ooh. 3. 4. 5. Okay, and how are we off for weapons, noting that we have 20 citizens? So we have 26 maces, which means that we can, and like 5 battle axes and rather oddly a bismuth bronze short sword. So we could afford to put like about 10 weapons into our first weapon trap, but we don't have anywhere to put the weapon trap yet, because my plan was to dig down one level here and have a bridge across there for merchants that we can then raise in order to expose a vast quantity of traps, possibly later magma or what have you underneath it. And then we would have at this level a bunch, probably some bolt throwers, because damn it, I am going to make bolt throwers work. But oh, actually, yes, so if I'm going to do that, maybe I don't want to smooth those. What order do I want to do this in? No, actually, I'll smooth them anyway while they... Well, no, I don't need to smooth them right now, do I? But we can start. All of this smoothing is not urgent. But if we then dig downwards over this area, because of course we're going to build a bridge anyway, and then that bridge will allow us to get at these walls for making changes to them as necessary. Because eventually I think I want to widen this area slightly so that the bridge has a gap on either side, and then beyond that to have fortifications with bolt throwers behind. And I probably want to have some archery targets that the bolt throwers can use for practice, or opposite the bolt throwers. But that's going to be a fair amount of engineering. For now, let's just dig down and fill it with traps. Well, at least install a trap, because we're going to need a lot of copper for this. So if we were going to enter the caverns, what we kind of want is to do so at a convenient vertical wall in the caverns. I thought I found one I quite liked there. Obviously that involves like going down and then back up again, but that's fine. If we're going to construct another kind of barbican like the existing one, then we want to do something like, I suppose actually it would probably be slightly simpler to have it exiting on this side, wouldn't it? And conveniently there's a bunch of malachite there which we're going to want for copper smelting anyway. So how about we build something that looks suspiciously much like our existing barbican? So we'll probably convert this room into like the inside end of the lower barbican, and then we drop down a Z level to have a similar kind of area that we could use for killing things on the way in if we needed one, and have a bridge on the inside and the outside. And like, this is probably over-engineering for dealing with cavern beasties, but better over-engineered than under-engineered. It doesn't, of course, need to be able to allow wagons, though you will observe that I paused briefly there, not only because I couldn't remember the word wagon, but also because it is possible sometimes for wagons to leave your map through the caverns, but we have built the entire staircase down here 2 squares wide, which is squares and wagons. What? Shut up, Harris. Or don't, but say the right words. Which is too small and stairs. That's correct. So we can't get wagons down here anyway. And I think wagons probably only leave that way if you've like got underground roads and things. The Forgotten Beasts do not turn up to trade with you, sadly. So that, I think, means that, let's just look at the geometry of this. Yeah, that I think we want to go, if we like dig, I mean, do I just make it 3 squares wide because that feels right? Or do I think I make it narrower because we don't need it to be 3 squares wide. And so we just like go, actually, if I'm only going to make it 1 square wide, we don't even have to start going sideways here. We could start by going down there. So we're now on the inside. I kind of want to go down another level. That's not actually what I want to do there, but I want to leave a marker. And then we'd also hang on, let me briefly go into blueprint mode and just draw some lines on the map so I know where I am. Oh, apparently that didn't work usefully. I was probably doing the wrong thing. Hang on. Dig. Blueprints. That's where we're going to come in. That's where we're going to go out. Actually, I don't really need to mark everything else, but so then we could like come in there, down 1, down another 1, down another 1, and not down another 1, but instead just put a corridor along there. And then if we want to enhance this later, we can. Remove the construction lines, so I never want to actually dig that. Actually, what I should do for safety is blueprintify a square in the middle there. And then once we've dug halfway through, build the inside drawbridge. I think that may be a cat being gelded. Happily growing strawberries. So I think we have already correctly configured the kitchen for strawberry processing. So the critical thing there is that strawberry plants must not be cooked. Instead, we want to brew or cook strawberries. But right now we are well off for food, and varied booze is good for dwarves. Let's add another hotkey. Here. So that now I can press, well, if I'd got that right, I would be able to press F4 to go to the relevant bit of the caverns, but apparently I made a mess of it somehow. All right, that's the button I want, yes. So first, the dwarves are carving more space in the upper barbican. And, of course, installing more spikes for safety. Well, yes, but also for safety. Okay, of course, now everyone's cancelling tasks that involve walking through the barbican because there's all this construction work going on. We are smoothing the walls briefly, though I think actually we're going to resort to reinforced walls, which are a new feature in this version of Dwarf Fortress. And why are people still sleeping? Do you even have a bedroom? You have a bedroom. What are you doing sleeping in the booze stockpile? I mean, I suppose I could guess, but...
That seems like a natural place where you might have been doing something that naturally led you to suddenly become sleepy.
Right, so now we have an indentation there. And a bunch of cancelled jobs because people got confused by the terrain changing under them. Actually, this is probably easiest done from here, isn't it? That's entertaining. Presumably these are ones that haven't yet started being constructed and so are just labelled an upright weapon. Whereas these ones, we've got at least one spike in there, so it's now an upright menacing copper spike. Hey, we're putting 10 spikes in each square. We're being properly extravagant with our spikes. Right, so that's now mined up to the point where I'm going to stop. So then build a very small bridge that raises to the west and put it there. Sandstone is obviously a sensible material for making a bridge out of. I mean, making bridges out of stone is, of course, a perfectly reasonable activity. It's just a slightly odd activity if they're drawbridges. Jefferson says, spikes, can goblins just tiptoe between them like Lara can? Yes, yes, indeed. Doing anything to a static spike like these ones is basically safe unless you fall a long distance onto it. But one of the things I'm trying to achieve here is goblins occasionally falling off this bridge into the onto the spikes. And one of the things I'm trying to prevent is goblins climbing this wall once we've raised the drawbridge. Obviously, the goblins can still try to climb the wall, but if they make any mistakes, they fall onto the spikes. Plus, like, I think filling the moat with spikes is probably a good thing in general.
I mean, in this climate, you have to consider that filling it with water won't be useful in some of the year.
Yes, indeed. I mean, we could try to construct spikes on top of the water, I suppose. Well, they will when the ice melts, so we'd have to rebuild them once a year. But we could. They would stay there until the ice melted. So now we could build our first weapon trap, I think. Which may as well go there. And fill it with maces, because maces are good against undead. In general, you want not to leave bits of your undead lying around. You would rather pulp them in place. Right, so that lever is now unused, but it does have extra mechanisms in it, so possibly we should just dismantle that one and make a new one. All those job cancellations were from ages ago. So yes, we now have a bridge that can be used to block off the inside end of the new right, that's lever is connected up. That can be used to block off the inside end of the new Barbican, lower Barbican. So let's now link that bridge to a lever so that we can open it again in order to carry on construction. You can see there's lots of running back and forth with spikes. Yes, we have apparently run out of tetrahedrite again. I suppose the miners are a bit idle now, so let's find some inoffensively located tetrahedrite if we can. By inoffensively located, I mostly mean somewhere where it won't be an embarrassment to dig a tunnel that the goblins might then use. That's the wrong button. Not that we're currently digging a tunnel there, because we can do it from the surface. So there doesn't seem to be much tetrahedrite high up in the mountains. That's more tetrahedrite there, though. We are not very well endowed with copper in this place. This is probably in part just because there are fewer common copper ores than there are common iron ores. Okay, so I think that lever has been linked up. Let's label it. There's a button that gets me to the right place. I shouldn't wander around trying to find it. And pull it, because we need that drawbridge to be open. Right, so we have at least one more spike constructed, and someone has fallen asleep on the spike. Well, on 10 copper spikes. She's annoyed after sleeping on rocks, which means she's managed to find a gap between the spikes to sleep in. I'm confused by the way that people are not using their bedrooms. Like, I don't think I've accidentally locked everyone's bedroom doors or anything, have I? Well, people keep getting down below here, so yes, I'm pretty sure they work. Because, like, you have to be able to come through here. What are you doing? You have no job. Well, they certainly have been working for some people. I am slightly suspicious. But like several people have claimed bedrooms. Right, so now we can, having opened that trapdoor, thingammy that, dig out into the caverns. Actually, no, first, I mean, not necessarily first, but let's at the very least install a couple of cage traps. Maybe a weapon trap. We probably haven't got enough weapons yet for that. Stonefall traps might actually be enough against your typical cavern beasties. Oh, it's the first of granite. Mute. So yes, we haven't seen any elves yet, so We'll wait until the summer before the humans turn up. Bismuthinite, how exciting. I'm sure it will be helpful to be able to make bismuth. Can we directly smelt bismuthinite into bismuth? Or do we have to make bismuth bronze directly? I'm not sure. I don't think I've ever had to deal with bismuth in this game before. Oh, hang on, we can't dig. I've heavily constructed this as a bunch of downward ramps from outside, but that's not going to, from the caverns, but that's not going to work. We need to dig these ramps upwards. Bismuth bars can normally only be used to make the alloy bismuth bronze, Jacob says. Right, we have struck all sorts of things because, well, we've just exposed another lump of cavern. Bloodstone, galena, indigo tourmaline, cassiterite. Ooh, more cassiterite, excellent. Citrine, pyrite, lapis lazuli, turquoise, cryolite, clear garnet, petrified wood, and something else that I've already forgotten. Jacob wonders, is this the only radioactive element in Dwarf Fortress? Somewhere around here we've got some pitch blende. Does that count? No, that's cobaltite. It's a similar colour to cobaltite. From which you cannot extract kobolds. Pitch blende, there we go. We're probably not going to try to mine pitch blende. Right, so now I think we want to put another bridge somehow blocking this, though I've realised that I suppose it can be a retracting bridge, can't it? But that we can't do no, we should make it, yes, the usual kind of drawbridge, though we probably won't try to have a moat outside have a moat in the caverns. I mean, we could have a little moat. Let's dig a very little moat, rendered slightly complicated by the layout round here. It's more a symbolic moat. I mean, we may as well also do some mining of ludicrous substances while we're here. Right, an elk bird has already wandered in. You're just going to end up falling into that. Oh, and run away again. Okay, no, the elk bird isn't going to fall into the cave trap because it's terrified of dwarves. Oh, we've got quite a lot of elk birds around now. This is why I put a couple of traps in there. So that if the elk birds come in, they will not accidentally end up wandering through the whole fortress. But as it is, they appear to be sufficiently scared of dwarves that they're not going to be a problem. We are kind of accidentally quickly mining this vein of... Oh, that one might not see us. Oh, it ran away into the cage trap. Right, there isn't much bismuthinite in this corridor, sadly. Slightly concerned that this... What? How many troglodytes? Okay, we may have a problem. Like, I'm not sure whether troglodytes are a big problem, but I'm slightly surprised by how many are coming in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cancel this mining so that these miners, and also at least blueprintify that mining, so that these miners can return home, and then we can maybe close off the caverns while we work out what to do next. Because 2 cage traps is not going to keep that many troglodytes out. I want to see how the dwarves react to the troglodytes, though. They appear just to be happily joining the troglodytes in heading into the fortress, which is nice. I'm single stepping here at the moment. We've struck Honey Yellow Beryl. She sounds yellow. They usually turn up in groups of 8 or so, thank you. Right, so they don't actually appear to be causing immediate problems. They also don't appear to be scared of dwarves, though. I think I'm going to close that bridge on the assumption that the troglodytes are not actually going to spontaneously return.
Tumble dryer's sounding a bit funny. I might turn it off.
Sounding a bit funny how?
It seems to be settling down, but it's weird. I'm going to turn it off.
Okay.
Right, so Jacob is posting me lots of notes on troglodytes. What do they actually want from me then? I'm going to look them up. Okay, we don't really get told. I mean, they seem they appear to be attempting to get into the fortress. Mostly what I'm wondering is it, I mean, actually the whole batch of troglodytes is now in the fortress, so maybe it's not worth closing the door behind them. Let's go for assemble the military in the barracks, and then we can see what's going to... no, and then we can... like, see what's what. Right, okay, the moment I turn everyone military, they go, oh, let's attack a troglodyte. Okay, they mostly appear to be combat practice for my dwarves.
They are capable of causing serious injury to unarmed civilians, but are rather pathetic when faced with a modestly equipped, halfway competent military.
Or indeed, a completely incompetent military. Well, I mean, okay, no, technically what you've run into is one of my miners. And attacking with a pick uses the mining skill. This tends to mean that quite early on you have some people who are really good with picks. And like start dismantling troglodytes very rapidly, it looks like. Got your nose. Right, so yes, one of the troglodytes has been, in the time it took me to pause after enabling the military, being killed by a dwarf. I think our furnace operator is not in the military yet. Right, we need to fix that. Though maybe not right now, because if we put them in the military, their reaction is probably going to be to strip naked. Yeah, I think as soon as you use something sharp on a troglodyte, they turn out to be very squishy. I haven't actually set up the game log for everyone else to watch. Maybe I should do that.
There's a theory for why they might be.
They might be inflatable. Yes, yes, it's possible. Excuse me, I'm just arranging this so that I can watch my game log as well on the other laptop. Right, I've for anyone who has a Chiark account, the game log file in I think my home directory is now should now get new messages, and in particular that means they appear on my other laptop by a stupidly roundabout route, and I don't have to read them all through this rather clunky interface. Now, you say death is all around you. You're mostly the ones causing the death. Though I appreciate it may well be horrifying even if you are the one killing the troglodytes. I mean, I wasn't really intending for you to kill them. I was just intending for you to turn up upstairs and then we could work out what to do and get yourself clear of them. But no, you've all decided that the right thing to do with these troglodytes is to beat them up. So yeah, whatever. Like, we're going to have so many bits of troglodyte to dispose of, you nuisances. Where are you? Where is all of this action happening then? Right, that's down here. Yes, that's that fight. I recruited this. This is someone who is slightly unhappy because they got kicked by kicked in the stomach by a troglodyte, and are now going, ugh, which I don't think is going to actually make them very unwell. Not that person though. The other person in the same square. And yes, there's already like bits of troglodyte lying around. How messy. Right, yes, the troglodyte has made it up, did make it up to the booze stockpile. Mostly, yeah, they're just getting minced by my not very competent military. I think you may be... Oh no, you do have a mace, yes. Maces are not as effective against troglodytes as swords are. But I hope they'll be more useful against zombies if we ever have to deal with them. That's just our unwell recruit. How are we doing for numbers of these then? Still do have a decent number of terrified troglodytes in the fortress. Just allow some time to pass. I think this is just going to be a troglodyte slaughtering event, really. There are only 3 of them left now. And one of those is in a cage. There's also a terrified elk bird wandering around, but that we won't be attacking because we won't treat it as hostile, I don't think. If it can find its way out of the fortress.
It got into a bedroom.
Yes, it's faffing around in the bedrooms, but...
Right, I mean, it got into a bedroom, which means you can get into bedrooms.
Yes, oh yes. I think at worst the dwarves are not willing to go into bedrooms. They're obviously accessible. They've got beds in them. What's going on here anyway? You seem to be making an awful meal of this one. Oh okay. You're officially non-military, so so you're not actually going to attack this troglodyte next to you. Which means the troglodyte is just going to stay there, slowly bleeding to death. It's probably stopped bleeding, actually. Yes, okay, sorry. I've just realised why the manager is cleaning. Because this bedroom is covered in troglodyte blood. So the manager has gone, right, I'm going to clean up that troglodyte blood, even though the troglodyte is still there, albeit having stopped bleeding. So, like... Right, well, I mean... Oh, right, yes, it's finally bled to death. We do, I think, have a garbage dump somewhere on the surface, even though it's not a very, like, well-organised one yet. I believe that troglodytes, being at least semi-intelligent, will not be usefully butcherable.
Not ordinarily butcherable.
I think someone dropped all their clothes when I asked them to enter military mode.
Got some pissed off dwarfs joking towards that.
Yes. We should probably stick them into our squad of recovering dwarves. What I really want is a way to discourage elk birds from entering the fortress. Oh, maybe the best idea is to like tether a couple of dogs or something down there. Something a bit scary that the elk birds can then will then be put off by. Because that way we won't like need to. I don't really want to put weapon traps or something down there, because then we'll end up with lots of bits of elk bird. It's not like we really want to kill the elk birds. But some restrained but somewhat vicious animals might be a decent plan. If, like, I hadn't slaughtered most of them. We do have a couple of stray puppies here, don't we? We've got 2 named dogs. And some puppies. I'm slightly tempted actually to say that that the right thing. Do we wait for them to grow up, train them for war, and then chain them up in that entrance area in the lower Barbican? I think that's a good plan, actually. Someone is actually injured. What happened to you? Are you by any chance naked? Almost, yes. You're wearing a pair of trousers and 1 glove. Right. What happened to you?
That looks like more of a less one-sided fight.
I mean, the troglodyte got a hit in early on. Got a few hits in early on and caused some bruising. Oh, your neck skin has been torn by this weird Dwarf Fortress skin. It has surprisingly low tensile strength feature. So, let us release all of the dwarves. So what's our... Right, we only have 1 troglodyte and it's caged. So we can release these, and then they will like engage in some medical work and also dispose of the dead troglodytes. I hope. course, we don't have any soap yet, but we not have any rock nuts. That's weird. Possibly we should like make some soap, but it's a bit late now. All right, at least some dwarves are dumping things. Though our rubbish dump is currently inside the fortress, which is a bit outside the fortress, which is a bit inconvenient. So, what's going on with that thing? So that is set for training by the crystalline drums. The divine stones should also probably be training there. The buttery brunch, of course, should not be training anywhere, but we should look at who our maximally unhappy dwarves are, because now we can stick them in there. In order to allow them to cheer themselves up a bit. So they are Sibrek, so furnace operator. Okay, can I not assign a leader at the moment? Possibly I have to make them... Oh, or possibly clicks are going weird. Let's just test this first. Right. And was it Mebzuth the metal crafter? I think, no. Cadol the blacksmith, I think. Yes. And Feb, who is currently the militia commander, who thus probably can't be put into this without some faffage, but maybe we have to do the faffage. As no one has relevant skills, we will just pick someone more or less at random. Right, and the buttery brunch should be specifically scheduled for constant training, which they then can't do, and therefore they should enjoy themselves instead. Nice that now organising their clothes and such like is not... and armour is not an immense amount of running around the fortress, and they can do it reasonably quickly in one place. You know, you're reasonably sanely dressed now. I mean, you are wearing yak bone leggings, but if you insist. Right, so that ought to allow those three to like do the things they need to do. The doctor is cleaning up the blood, probably. Someone should put that spare cloth and that bucket back in the box. Why couldn't you put the bucket back in the box? Yes, I think we're dumping all the troglodyte corpses somewhere down here. I can't remember where. Right, I think, is it in that square? No, surely not. Oh well, it's somewhere around there. It should keep things reasonably tidy. So, right, yes, here we have one of our maximally unhappy dwarves doing some praying in order to cheer themselves up. Well, we hope praying will cheer them up anyway. Yes. Ferocious and horrified and afraid and uneasy as a result of that fight. But entering the military has cheered them up by allowing them to put on an exceptional item. And they can remember just how nice their bed is.
So they have at least seen it.
I suspect elk birds may actually be able to be terrified by puppies. So, as a bit of an experiment, I'm going to see if I can construct a couple of ropes or chains, which means, yes, in this alcove, okay, I have no chains at the moment. Let's make some chains. Not in a kiln, you idiot. In the forge. Don't know quite how many we want, but then I need to decide what to do about the troglodyte and the elk bird that we've caught in a cage. So those two squares seem no longer to be blueprinted for channeling. That's weird. Anyway, let's just mark all of that for channeling unblueprinted. Should work out what's going on with rock nuts. Elk birds are very skittish. Right, and then let's build a bridge across our tiny little moat. So that we can close that end off as well if we want to. So it looks like we are going to start getting slight injuries now. So let's build yet another kind of... Oh God, we need an ashery as well, don't we, if we're going to make lye? It's awfully tedious. Like we can use We need a wood furnace, which I don't think I currently. I cannot be bothered. It is just too much faff. We will buy our lye, and it should be arriving in the autumn. So we've only got 6 months to wait before the lye turns up, and then we can make soap. Right, what's going on with these rock nuts? We think we're trying to plant quarry bushes there. We have 11 rock nuts, allegedly. Oh, are they? I've forbidden access to the old fortress, and the rock nuts are still in there, right? Or meditating on minerals, good. At least I hope it's good. Yeah, we're trying to dispose of the dead troglodytes. I think they're mostly gone now. There are live elk birds wandering the fortress, mind. I know those ones are still waiting to be disposed of. Do I need to adjust? I wonder if that's treated as being not in the fortress kind of thing. Let's try that button and see if it helps. I suppose I could have checked whether there was actually a dump item task. Well, there are a couple of dump item tasks and people are still doing them, so okay, what are they doing them with respect to? Right, you are actually hauling a troglodyte head at the moment. Yeah, so this is our main garbage dump, which is full of bits of troglodyte at the moment. Yeah, don't worry about the gem situation. We'll be along shortly with some gems, I think. I mean, okay, our moat doesn't actually have a vertical side on the excuse me, very fast-moving elk bird, which has come into the fortress and then been scared off. Elk bird got scared off. It is highly amusing watching the elk birds running away. They bravely come into the fortress and then flee from all of the dwarves kicking around in there, and eventually might get chased back out again. Right, that's the all the bits of dead troglodyte removed. So we could at least mine that bit of chrysoprase there for a bit more gems that are easily accessible. Slightly annoying quantity of these gems are like slightly the wrong Z level. Similarly, we could, oh, there's, what's that there? Yes, we could mine that beryl cluster. Slightly worried that this is going to, this vein is going to end up joining up with this one, and we don't actually want to penetrate all the way into that bit of cavern. Though I don't think anyone who comes in through the we're short of copper apparently. Have we got our those chains yet? I don't think anything that comes in through the cavern is highly likely to be able to dig or knock down walls. No. So I don't think we actually need to worry about getting too close to the caverns. You could just go and wander. It's not like I'm stopping you. We are at least still processing tetrahedrite. Oh yes, I was very slowly mining it up on the mountains, wasn't I? Right. Is anyone building that bridge? Apparently not. Quite sure what all the dwarves are doing. Now, there is still some dumping of items to do, I suppose. We are still successfully smelting more and more tetrahedrite, which is probably good. What's that? Blind cave ogre sounds scary. I think for purposes of safety, I'm going to temporarily close the inner Barbican bridge. If we can do that in time to keep that blind cave ogre out. They are at least quite slow moving. Right, so we have temporarily at least locked the caverns out of accessibility, because while that's a tower cap trunk, that is a blind cave ogre. And we might want to think about how much we want to deal with unfriendly wildlife in the caverns. I think I'm going to pay some attention to this, at least until we've cleaned out Oh, thank you. Jacob has observed that the tunnel that I was considering walling off is now clear of useful rocks. So I might investigate closing that in so that people can't so easily get into it. Right, so that's that bit of conveniently exposed tetrahedrite all dug out. So we have a bunch of upward slopes of tetrahedrite and some convenient tetrahedrite boulders are lying around. So I think that's all the visible tetrahedrite on that Z level 47. There's a lot of coal on 46, but not much else. Hint of tetrahedrite all the way down there on 45, so we could mine some of that, I suppose. That at least is, well, I was going to say, is an occasion where it's worthwhile not to dig it out as a tunnel, because then the roof would collapse. But of course the only reason for that is because I've open cast mined the next bit anyway. So where are the dwarves? We are right on the corner of the map, aren't we, here? So let's leave that to happen. Jacob pointed out that . that mine working is now empty. Let's try constructing some reinforced walls then. So probably want to build them out of blocks if possible. Got quite a lot of iron, so let's make these an iron and shale wall there. We're actually going to wall off along that line, but like I think we may as well also block it that way. That one actually still has a few bits of lignite in, so we'll leave that to be mined a bit more. So maybe actually we do just put in that wall there. So now we've successfully planted some rock nuts, which is nice. Oh, there's some miasma. Oh dear, I forgot to dump that rotten troglodyte corpse. Right, let's deal with that. Also, there are terrified elk birds running around in the bedrooms. Oh, of course, the elk birds can't get out now because I wanted to lock that blind cave ogre out, and therefore I have locked the elk birds in. That could be problematic. I think as long as they're wild, they won't starve to death. Because they're grazers, and so if they're tamed, you need to make sure that they're going to be properly fed. But as long as they're wild, I think they don't actually eat. Oh, see, we do get migrants. Here we have someone who is a skilled presser and not much good at anything else. How I long for the beautiful spectacle of war. Well,
I think you just missed the small scrap of the troglodyte.
yes. Of course, what I should also have done, in addition to making bedrooms for new arrivals, is made armour for new arrivals. Well, I don't think I'm going to try to make you do anything yet. And you've brought your kitten with you. So you have no skills at all. 3. Oh, a talented diagnostician and wound dresser. Right, you're going to be I'm going to make you into a doctor right now. I've forgotten your name though. Carol Knockgol. Another presser. We do not need quantities of pressers. Are you a good miner? Yes, you are a good miner. Okay. Your name is Tun. Potash maker, how helpful. A 4-year-old child. Someone pretty much useless. I mean, useless so far. A 2-year-old child who believes trade is the lifeblood of a thriving society. A talented carpenter. High Master Weaponsmith. Okay, we'll have to work out what to do with you. Like, I think I have a fairly general metalsmiths group. Maybe I want to, like, work out how to put you in as the main one. Maybe we just set up a smiths guild hall, and you all learn from one another. So many blank slates. Technically a thresher, but not actually any good at it. Oh, I'm a little worried about the way that everything is going a bit sluggish. Slug. Yeah, X-Wayland is munching all of my memory and is probably going to start munching through my swap in a moment. Jitten says they can go in a squad called the Blank Slates. Yes. A pump operator. How helpful. We don't have any pumps yet. So I'm kind of an animal caretaker. Not a very good one. I'd kind of like this lot to actually finish arriving. A young calf.
You can set the pump operator to mushroom farming and think they're plump operator.
Thank you. A blue pea chick. A High Master Stonecrafter. Intriguing. I think we actually have a slot for Stonecrafters at the moment. Really, there are an awful lot of people here.
Yes, you just doubled your...
I'm going to save, and I want to save and restart Dwarf Fortress so that we can get the memory situation under control. Right, I think that's that wave arrived. So while we consider what to do with them, I am going to briefly save, kill X Wayland, restart Dwarf Fortress, and then we'll come back. So I will still be audible, but you won't get any video for a little bit while we restart things, assuming that like things don't all die in a horrible smelly mess. That's not how you type kill all, Ben. So I think now we have lots of spare memory again. Good. And then I need to reattach. Oh, no, that is working. I need to reattach this, I think. So I need to click on playing. Oh, and then double click on window capture and say reselect that window there. And then you can see Dwarf Fortress again. Yes, so it's the exploding X server is X Wayland, which is well, maybe a sensible X server would not explode, but on the other hand, it is quite easy to just kill it and restart it. Oh, right, we've established a farmers guild has been established without my consent or involvement. They're probably going to start wanting a guild hall soon. We should probably decide where we want to start putting guild halls. So that blind cave ogre is just standing around there, just outside the fortress, waiting to annoy me. But right now, I think we actually have the higher priority of needing 20-something more bedrooms. I mean, okay, the dwarves haven't actually occupied half the bedrooms they currently have, but sort of pattern to the ones they've occupied. Like, is it that they can only turn left through those doors or something? No, like there's a pair of no, that's not actually a pair of bedrooms that share a door. But yes, that one and that one and that one and that one. And that one, which contains an elk bird. Like quite a lot of the bedrooms, including adjacent pairs, are occupied. Yes, I suggest not waiting a week before you go to bed. So let's start by installing some beds in the new lower bedrooms. That one is no longer a bedroom because someone has connected it up to the caverns. Mostly going on which ones seem to be decorated reasonably well. So that's 6 new beds. She's going to use up most of our doors. May as well mine that rock cluster while we're here. So now the dwarves are all turning up and filling the... what are you doing? You're cleaning the troglodyte blood off things. Excellent. Please carry on. We can dig those squares out as well. Right, so now we can assign these as bedrooms as well. So that will give the dwarves slightly more places to sleep. Hooray! While I continue to consider the situation down in the caverns. So now that we have 40 dwarves, based on the wiki's rule of thumb that you want about 1 table and chair per 5 dwarves, we want about 8 or 9. So we're going to need quite a few more than... And we've got 5 set up at the moment, so it's not too bad. Then I want to leave a little corridor there, so the next ones will go here. I have no idea which are our best chairs, but like we can just set some of them up and then... Oh no, that's not where I want it. Right, and then remove the least good ones. We're quite quick at constructing new furniture now. Right, so that means that we need a total of enough armour for everyone. So currently the mail shirt situation is that we have barely 20. How many iron bars do we have? Usually actually we aim... Let's go for helms first and work our way down, because helms are probably the best thing to have in iron. So we currently have 15 iron helms and 4 bronze helms. So we only have a total of 19 helms. So that means we need another 25 helms. Right. I think a helm only needs 1 bar. So yes, so if we've got, I think we have got 25 iron bars, and so yes, easily. So we could, assuming we have enough coal, ask to forge 25 iron helms. Have a decent stock of spare beds still. Should we make some more? We should make a few more rock doors, shouldn't we, so that we can decorate those. Quickly, sneakily look up blind cave ogres in the wiki. Right, I think actually blind cave ogres can be caught in cage traps. So possibly what we just need is to make a few more cages, rearm those cage traps. I think we possibly want more cage traps there. And then we're just going to need to work out how we're going to empty those cage traps again. Except, of course, that we can't reload those cage traps because they're outside the fortress perimeter. So we'll lay a couple more cage traps inside the current gates. Make some more rock mechanisms. And make a few more copper cages. What we'd like is somewhere we can deposit things like blind cave ogres so that they can leave the map but can't otherwise be a nuisance. Can't like get back into the fortress, so that we don't have to kill them unnecessarily, but we do at least stop them causing trouble internally. Excuse me, need to mine some more stuff. Seb suggests putting up a sign, presumably to tell the blind cave ogres to go elsewhere. Not sure that will work. I don't think they can read. I think according to the wiki they don't develop language. I fear that blind cave ogres, unlike elk birds, will not be scared off by a thing that goes honk. Like, we could try chaining up a goose down there and seeing what happens, but oops, no, that's not what I meant. Oh right, yes, we've struck praise opal while digging out tetrahedrite up here. Looks like that's all that opal properly tagged. Happily, I don't think the Kias can carry boulders. So that's all that praise opal extracted. Okay, the Kias are back and stealing footwear, which is fine. We want everyone in boots anyway. Let me guess. Oops. Yes, the Company of Ravens, which is a good name, has many members in filled tombs and now requires a guild hall. The location must be built and furnished with the hall designated for a farmers' guild. Yes, I think we can do that. I should think about how we are going to organise guild halls, though, like in terms of physical location. Oops, no, that's not what I meant. This vein of tetrahedrite runs so close to the edge of the map that we can't actually mine all of it. But it does seem to be bending back onto the map, so actually it must surely reach here, mustn't it? While we're in the area, let's make a bit more hematite available. Maybe it doesn't join up over there. Who knows? So it feels like I could also knock down a bit of the mountain over there that is just a big pile of hematite. I could pay attention to what the rest of the dwarves are doing, but like this is a pleasantly mindless operation of marking squares for mining. It turns out there's a decent amount of tetrahedrite up here. Plus my miners are getting quite quick. Especially when there are 3 of them working on things. Excellent masterwork spikes. Oh, we've got some chains. We could probably have some fun with those as well. Let's wait until we have the traps set up. Oh, I can also do this from the other direction, of course. There. Actually, we may as well, given we're in this like tangle of lignite and tetrahedrite, we may as well clear out the lignite as well. I didn't really intend to end up mining lignite as well, but like there's a reasonably well-defined patch here that feels like it may as well be cleared out. That's nice. I don't think we care about selenite. And we're now, yes, happily smelting tetrahedrite again. Right, so that's a nice bit of mining on the surface done. That ogre is still there. Kias are stealing our clothes, that's fine. Those cage traps are now armed. So I think what I want to do now is let that blind cave ogre in and get it into a cage. Assuming it wants to come in, of course. But it looks like it does. It's just quite slow moving. God damn it. You've immediately gone, oh, we could do some mining down here. No. Oh. Well, you've got to pick. You could probably take a blind cave roger if you need to. Haha. But the blind cave roger is chasing the elk bird. Sadly, I fear the elk bird is probably going to land in a cage trap. Okay, the blind cave ogre may not be as violent as we had thought. Given that it just happily passed that miner. Right, blind cave ogre in a cage, which is, I think, the best place for one, really. Meanwhile, we are happily mining. Hope someone will come and build that bridge soon, because that will make my life a lot simpler. What are you doing? All right, you're going to dig. Oh yes, I scheduled like a tiny amount of gem mining out in the caverns, hadn't I? I'll slow this down in a bit. Right, let us now do, oops, no, do this by hand, one square at a time, so that I can carefully think about each square that we mine and whether it will let the cavern in. Right, and we will leave those last two squares there to separate the end of that tunnel from the cavern. Right, how are you doing at building this bridge, everyone? Still not actually building it. It'd be really helpful if you did. Because like it is an important part of my defensive plans. Okay, we have quite a lot of cage of elk birds in cages now. I'm going to need a plan for them as well. Right, so where should we put guild halls? So this level has our main barracks and our enormous temple that will probably at some point be like carved up into temples for individual gods and religions and stuff. There's the dining room level, but which is like meant to be where our main meeting area that isn't the temples is. I mean, I suppose we could just carve off bits of the temple to be guild halls. That might be fairly simple. I feel that putting them around the dining area would be more appropriate. Though we did have, we had the problem in Keskalokil that our most popular guild halls were nowhere near big enough, didn't we? Okay, let's carve them out of the temple then. Okay, we apparently don't have any bricks. Oh well. We can erect a wall really quickly now that we have so many dwarves, most of whom are doing very little. Okay, we apparently have one dwarf who's really bad at putting up walls. Oh no, they're in the way praying to Veer. Nuisance. Once you've finished praying there... I presume I can't put a door... Can I put a door in there? No. I need the wall to be finished first. Well, let's make a start by... removing... that area from the temple. There's one more line we need to remove. There. And then creating a new meeting area. There. Yes, it overlaps for now. I think that should be fixed in due course. As a farmers' guild hall. Once the person who's praying on the square where we want to build the wall has gone, then we can finish building the wall. Can we build the remaining spikes along here now? Right, yes. We'll install another weapon trap as well. Still praying. Oh, now you're meditating on the sky. How about you do this somewhere else that isn't a building site? It will make my life much simpler. All right, excellent. You're out of the way. Possibly we have a slight problem of everyone congregating around the entrance to the temple. It's not the most helpful place for them to congregate. Okay, you still think that's overlapping, do you? Right, now you don't. That's because it's not. As in it doesn't own its own south wall. Right, still not marked as overlapping because now the game understands that those squares are doors and that square's a wall. Right, so how is that guild hall doing then? It's currently only a meeting place. We do need to improve its decoration a bit. I mean, the simple way to improve things is just to smooth everything. Right, our first strange mood. Hope we're adequately equipped for this. Though, to be fair, we might make it to the at least the human caravan if we do turn out to need to buy something. So our 2-year-old child has been taken by a strange mood. Kubuk. So she is heading into the fortress. Has claimed the carpenter's workshop. I can't remember what that one is. Craftsdwarf's workshop, and is mostly apparently making things out of wood. Not entirely out of wood. We'll put some honey yellow beryl in there as well. And now she's probably complaining about something. Right. Let us watch what she's complaining about. Must have rough gems. I must have bones. I must have logs. I must have rough gems. I must have bones. Right, well, she's got logs. She's got rough gems. So she is clearly after some bones. What have we got in our livestock? I mean, we do have this stray calf we could slaughter. Which will probably produce at least some bones. Pinkbee says, Ben, you are doing that thing where you get fainter and fainter. Oh, yes. That may just be that it's late at night and I'm getting slowly fainter and fainter. Right, let's try slaughtering that calf. Because I suspect that's more likely to produce adequate bonage than a kitten. If that doesn't work, then we may have to do something with our with the caged elk bird, which I'm sure with a bit of care we can work out how to slaughter. So here's the person who is coming to slaughter the calf. That's been dealt with. Dispose of the spare nervous tissue. Right, that has produced 16 bones. And apparently a rather stressed dwarf who had to do it. So hopefully our moody 2-year-old is now going off to fetch the bones. Right, she is now happy. The doctrine of skies has many worshippers in filled tombs, and now requires a temple and a priest. Well, let's just wall off a bit of the temple down here. How are we off for blocks anyway? It's very hard to tell. Not well enough off to fully wall it in yet. So we need 5 for that, and we only have 4, which means we're quite close actually. Let's build as many walls as we can. So still no one is building that bridge. I'm very confused by that. I might like abandon it and reconstruct it just in case it's confused. Except I have no spare blocks, so no, that's not actually true. I have the blocks that I built it from last time. We are working on making some more blocks. Good. Why is there a troglodyte right hand there? Get rid of it. And a foot there, get rid of that too. I hope that will make people happier. Kubuk Osen Kunib, Dwarven Child, has created Imikigal Arak Ked, a guava wood cup. She offers it to the incidental fortification. It is called Chuck Trapped the Church of Feed. Yes, well, that was obviously named by a 2-year-old. This is a guava wood cup. All craft dwarfship is of the highest quality. It is decorated with guava wood and encircled with bands of cacao wood, tunnel tube, and cow bone. On the item is an image of a forgotten beast in honey yellow beryl. Okay. I think that will now get fairly rapidly transported up to the booze stockpile for... yeah, there it goes. So that people can drink out of it. I'm confused by this repeated failure of my dwarves to build that bridge. Is there some reason why they think they can't build it? They're not having problems with any other bits of building, just that bridge. Is it that it requires a mason and we only have like one mason assigned? Possibly, yes. Well, we now have 2 masons assigned because it turned out we did have another competent mason. They immediately started making rock blocks. So yes, here is our highly valuable lava wood cup sitting around in the booze stockpile waiting for people to drink from it, which is probably a good use for it, really. Slightly curious, has anyone claimed any of the bedrooms down here yet? Yes. Still no blocks built. I think someone is working on blocks. There are some blocks. Oh. No, I think those blocks are actually assigned to something. Oh, there's a pile of bauxite blocks there. Oh, it may be a bit difficult to sell extravagant furniture to the humans because it's possible that we've installed most of our current extravagant furniture. I'll wait for someone to come along with the other door to that temple. Then we'll split that temple off from the rest. And one awkward thing is that I don't actually want to remove the wall from the existing temple. But I can only tell when I've gone slightly too far. Then I need to repaint those sections. I think this will tell me which is the one that I'm meant to be building a temple to. Maybe not. So, yes, this one needs to be enhanced quite a bit. I've tried to ask for smoothing, but possibly because there are so many rock blocks to make, that hasn't happened yet. So I don't think we've had a message in that form about it. I kind of want to say it's the doctrine of the skies, but I can't remember. Let's see what happens if we do that. Yes. So that also needs to be enhanced. As a start, we'll tag that for smoothing as well. Though I think our smoothing crew is a bit thin on the ground. Possibly we need to accept that we should turn someone else. So engraving is still set up as a primarily as an everyone does this. I think that includes smoothing. I'm slightly surprised that no one is doing it. But we've had this problem before where smoothing didn't happen for a while and then it suddenly did. Possibly we just need to install some good furniture in there. Though the price is, the value thereafter is quite high. We don't have any porcelain bricks. I think we may have run out of... have we just run out of supplies of kaolinite and I need to start putting that back? Yes, okay, we just need to mine some kaolinite really. because paving the room with porcelain is a nice way to increase its value. Just trying to remember where we've seen. Oh, there's some tetrede right there. We'll dig some of that out. There's a nice big quantity of kaolinite. Right, let's keep the miners busy for a moment. Oh, it's past midnight. Maybe I should stop in a moment. Also a ton of kaolinite here. Right. Not quite sure where my miners are. Oh, apparently they're heading to there. Right, that should allow me to make some porcelain, which we can then use to line buildings a bit more, which would probably allow us to increase their value rather. No, not that. Mostly, sorry, yes. Pink Beast listens to Ben scratching his head, chin and thinking. Yes, I'm sorry, I'm marking out areas for mining and there isn't a lot to say. And also it's quite late at night and I should probably be going to bed soon. But like, there's this very satisfying digging out large amounts of kaolinite as though we're somewhere in like central Cornwall or something. And in particular here, we're digging out this kaolinite cluster and it keeps turning into, oh, here, have some gems. Oh, and some tetrahedrite. Oh, a human caravan has arrived. Right, that might be the time to give up for the night then. Not that a human caravan is very complicated, but it requires doing something other than just marking yet more of this kaolinite cluster for quarrying. So yes, I think it's now will probably be a good time to stop since it's 11:10. So yes, I think we will stop for tonight, where we have explored the caverns briefly. Oh, we've built that bridge. Right, before I forget then, let me just do a thing. I won't actually wait for the job to complete, but I will... Oh, maybe I have to... I will do a little bit, because I want to build... Doesn't take very long to build the mechanism, does it? To attach a lever to the new bridge, and it will just be so annoying if I find myself in a position where I can't pull that lever because it isn't actually built or connected to anything yet. But this will not take long. Here's someone coming to build the lever. Right, and now I will name that lever like that and link it to that bridge, and that way it won't be forgotten. Right. No, that's all. So I will now save and return to title menu and say good night to anyone who is still out there, and we will see you on Friday. Good night.